Hey everyone, it's Failed Chop back at it with an Awaken Chaos Area video, and as per usual, I'm going to be going over the new gear enhancement event, what the value of it is, what is the value compared to previous events, and of course, how much gear you actually need to upgrade in order to finish it. On top of all that, I will be also evaluating it for my lower level account because depending on what level you are, I believe it's at level 40, you get access to the full event, but before that, it's like a half version of the event. So I'm going to be evaluating it there as well. If you are enjoying these videos, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump over to the events. So we have the gear enhancement event. Just got done with the gear collection event. So perfect time to start the gear enhancement event. 3 days to complete it. It is significantly less days than the previous gear enhancement event. The previous gear enhancement event was 8 days long. So keep that in mind. On top of that, when we jump in, it's 5,000 points. The previous gear enhancement event was 8,000 points. So again, this is bound to have less rewards than the previous event because there's less points involved. So let's go ahead and check out how you're going to go ahead and complete this event. So this one's a little more complicated because obviously it completely depends on what gear you're upgrading. If you're earlier on in the game, you might be upgrading 4 and 5-star gear. If you're later on in the game, you might be only upgrading 6-star gear. Really just depends. But I'm going to go ahead and put up my spreadsheet here. I'm going to refer to it over here. That goes ahead and kind of gives you an average of how much XP you're going to spend on this event. So first thing is, from maxing a 5-star piece straight from 0, you actually get 950 points. And from a 6-star, you get 1,170 points, which brings the total, if you max a 5-star and 6-star piece, you get 2,120 points. That's assuming you're maxing half and half 5 and 6-star pieces, which I imagine most of you are doing. Which means that you need to max about 2 5-star pieces and 3 6-star pieces, or 3 5-star pieces and 2 6-star pieces. And that comes to about the XP of 1 million, roughly. This is very rough numbers because obviously, again, there's so much variation with this, but 1 million gear enhancement XP in order to finish the event. So keep that in mind. That comes out roughly to 90 legendary charms. Because each charm gives you 10,000 experience. And if you're curious how much, charms or how much gear or whatever XP you need to upgrade a piece of gear, I do have a gear enhancement calculator, and I will leave the video to that in the top right corner here. So go ahead and check that one out. But again, on average, you're going to be upgrading 5 and 6-star pieces, at least for the normal account, and you're going to be getting that XP done. It's important to note that if you want to complete this event, max 5-star pieces. They're actually more efficient than maxing 6-star pieces. And that is all shown in my gear enhancement calculator. Now, let's go ahead and head over to the rewards. So first things first is immediately right off the first bat is this is like an experience haven. It's just a bunch of upgrading and promotion materials. So obviously this is going to vary for a lot of people and how good these rewards are. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my spreadsheet up on screen here. And again, if you have not seen a previous video on this type of topic, the one in red is the base price that the game suggests that you can buy these items at from like the diamond shop, for example. And the one in the green is my number that's based on my XP Jelly calculator because these pumpkins and the foodies are actually worth less if you can farm Mythic. Now, if you're stuck on normal, these pumpkins are, much higher value. But if you can farm Mythic, these things decrease in value. So the total value based on the game's price is 1,600 diamonds, and my calculator says that this group of rewards is worth 1,000 diamonds. That's a massive difference. That's the biggest difference we've had yet on any of these events. And that's mainly because, again, it's full of pumpkins, it's full of foodies, and they are worth less if you're able to farm Mythic. So again, that's 1,000 diamonds in total for this event. Now, if we compare this gear enhancement event to the previous gear enhancement event, we will see that this enhancement event was significantly reduced. And this is the first event that has actually had a major change in the average of events. All the other events previously, and I know a lot of people gave me backlash on the previous event, but I was being absolutely truthful in saying that that event was on average about as good as all the events previously. Now you could argue that that event should have been in all the events in general should be increased in rewards. Sure, but that event previously was actually in the average of how good of an event should be. This is the first event that's outside of that average because if we compare it to the previous event, as I mentioned earlier, and I will put up the spreadsheet on screen here, its total was about 3,800 diamonds in value at an 8K point total. So if you compare the 5K point total to this 5K point total, it was actually worth about 3,000 diamonds. That's still 3 times as much value diamond-wise as this event. And you could argue that it's actually a little bit more because pumpkins aren't necessarily useful for perhaps later game players, or as useful for later game players. So this could be catering to the earlier game players, which, as I mentioned earlier the game you are, the more valuable these pumpkins are. Now, that being said, I would have liked to see them keep the Epic Arcana at 5k points. The Epic Arcanas are reasonably rare, and you don't get too many of them. And I like to see that they put them in events every once in a while. They don't need to be a regular stay in the events, but I do like to see the harder events, like the Gear Enhancement event, in the point total having an Epic Arcana, because that's a really nice reward. And if they had it at 5k points here, I would not have any problems with this event, and it would be a great event. But because they don't, I do have a little bit of a problem with this event. And again, it is the first event that I would actually have a problem with because it's outside the average. I do think this game is very reward saturated already, and I do not like to see a ton of rewards because I think the game is very, very easy already. That being said, the Epic Arcana should be in these Gear Enhancement events at 5k points. So let's go ahead and check out the alt account and the event there and compare that to, what we have here. So this is the alt account, and really it's basically the same rewards. It's just like the first half. You're still getting the three star pumpkins, the 4 or the 3 4-star pumpkins here, and it's at 1500 points, which means that you roughly need to max out essentially one piece of gear from 1 to 15, a 6-star piece, and that can easily be done, especially with some of the earlier game quests, or just a couple of 5-star pieces to 15. It's not that difficult, to be honest. 1500 points is very, very easy, and the rewards are not that bad, to be honest. You're not getting the 5-star pumpkin, but you're getting quite a few 4-star pumpkins. The thing is, I just don't know why they separate the early game from the late game players, to be honest. Me personally, I just think they should have the same event for all players. And if they can't complete it, then they can't complete it. But they should just have a potential to be able to complete the whole event. I don't know why they separate it. But overall, the rewards are actually not that bad for an early game player for 1500 points. These are actually quite good for 1500 points. So overall, we're seeing a significant reduction in price in regards to this gear enhancement from the previous gear enhancement event. And this is, again, one of the first ones, honestly, the first one that has actually deviated from the standard average of the events. And so you don't really like to see that. I would like to see them, experiment with the rewards in there, but keep it roughly the same value in rewards. Maybe add a bunch of extra pumpkins, or maybe add a couple summons in there, or something there that actually increases the value. Now, I do want to mention that is important to note, is that summons are inherently valued way, way more diamond-wise, because the only way you can get them is through diamonds and through spending, except for, the occasional quests and some of the rewards in game. So that's super, super important because it does inflate some of the values previously. But that being said, I would have liked to see the Epic Arcana in the last slot, and that's would be a perfect event for me. That'll be it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.